Yes guys, I'm Brad here, this is Blades Focus, welcome back to another video on the channel today. It's a Charlton vs Sheffield United preview and prediction. So it's another match day for the Blades taking on Charlton at the Valley. I've got my preview, prediction and place to watch out for. Just before we get into this video, if you enjoy this sort of content, leave this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Just a quick word of warning, I'm not able to watch the match today as it's 3 o'clock kickoff and we're away from home, so there's no match reaction. Well, I say no match reaction, there will be match reaction, it'll just be much shorter, it may even be the one from TikTok. But obviously I can watch the highlights after the game and give my analysis on them resources. Of course, similar to last week, there's 3 parts in this match preview. In the first part, we'll look at any stats that may be relevant to the game and the form. Then in the second part, I pick out one play from both clubs that I think could make an impact on the game. And then finally, I'll talk you through my predicted lineup, see who I think will start. And of course, at the end, give you a score prediction. Of course, it's a big clash down at the bottom. Both teams will want 3 points. Sheffield United sitting in 16th, they're in 19th. A win for Charlton could take them 8 points clear of the relegation zone, whereas for the Blades, it could take them to the highest 13th. Looking at the form now, over the last 5 games, I'm not including the cup matches. Starting off with Charlton, they've definitely struggled with form over the last few games. And it's not great viewing for the Charlton fans either, because 4 of them 5 games have been against the bottom 5, excluding Wednesday. That win against Oxford 5 games ago was only their second win since the start of November. After that, lost 2 crucial away games to Norwich and Portsmouth. Don't get me wrong, the Coventry game's an anomaly, it's a decent point for them, but the other 3 games where they didn't pick up wins against relegation rivals is concerning. Now looking at Sheffield United's last 5 games in the league, of course 3 away games, 2 of them which were lost. And if you go a bit further back to maybe like the last 10 games, then I think we're definitely much better at home than we are away. I mean, some of the times, like that second half against Wrexham and West Brom, we just seem to fall apart completely. Whereas when we're at Bramall Lane, we definitely seem to ride that pressure and manage to get the win easily. One thing you can't say about the Blades is they're not struggling for goals because they've scored 11 in the last 5. And my play to watch that I've chosen for United, that you'll see soon, is one of the big reasons why. Based on form, Sheffield United should be winning this one, but it's important to take into account their away games. Moving into players to watch now for Charlton, I've gone for James Bray. Of course, he's on loan from Southampton. I think the deal runs out in a few days, so they can recall him. And it'll be interesting to see what Southampton do because I think he's been a key player for Charlton this season. They've been playing the 3 at the back system with Bray as a right-sided wing-back, and I think he's been phenomenal in that role. The main thing I want to look at is his passing stats per 90 on FotMob. This is comparing him to other attacking midfielders and wingers in the league if you look at the chances created and the successful crosses. For chances created, it's 1.99 per game, which is in the 85th percentile, and then the crosses stand out to me 1.99 once again, which is the 96th percentile of all wingers and midfielders. And if you look at the duels one, it's in the 95th percentile, and the aerial duels, that is one, is in the 97th percentile. So it shows he's got a great balance between defensive and attacking actions. Usually as a fullback or a wingback, you struggle with the defending or the attacking, but he's got a mixture of both. And with 5 goal involvements so far this season, he's definitely a player we need to keep quiet. Of course, for Sheffield United, I've chosen a player who's been a big part of our form. He's one player, Patrick Bamford. No coincidence at all that Patrick Bamford has come in and the form has gone up, because he's been incredible, getting 5 goals in 10 championship appearances. The per 90 stats are probably a bit skewed towards Bamford because he's played less minutes. So to analyse, I want to look at the total stats. Of course, the bars are still very green when it comes to stuff like XG on target and expected goals. And if you look at the number of shots that he's got on target compared to off target, it's quite a lot. Even if you look at some of the defensive stats like the duels and aerial duels, it shows he's getting stuck in there. And I think especially in a top formation, you need someone leading the line and getting stuck in, which is what he does. Overall, he's been an absolutely successful signing for Sheffield United. I'm glad he's tied down till the end of next season. Moving on to the predicted lineup now, start with Michael Cooper in goal. I think it will be a very similar team to the last league game. I've got to say none of the players on the fringe impressed against Mansfield Town, so I think we'll go for a strong team. Even though he's slightly injured, I think Michael Cooper is such a way better keeper than Adam Davies. I think he will come back in. It remains to be seen whether we sign a goalkeeper in this window, but I think we should compete for Cooper because of the injury. But with that one, we'll just have to wait and see. At right back is the usual starting right back, Femi Sirike. He's been an absolute sensation this season, such a joy to watch down that right hand side. And I've noticed recently we do focus a lot of play down that right hand side. I think he's a key factor of that. I think he as well is carrying a small injury, so whether he comes off in like 60th, 70th minute, I'm not sure. At right centre back is the ever-present in the league, Japhet Tanganga. In terms of what he's done in the league, he's hardly put a foot wrong. He's been solid at the back. I mean, if you compare his performances to the like of me and McGuinness in that Mansfield game, it's just night and day. And he's one of them players, whenever he's fit, he has to start. At left centre back, I've gone for Tyler Bindon. He reclaims his place. Neither me or McGuinness deserve a place in the team after that Mansfield performance, so Bindon comes back in. Obviously, that Wrexham game was a one-off for Bindon, but other than that, it's been solid since Wilder came back in. And I'm pleased to hear that the Nottingham Forest recall option has now passed, so he's with us for the season. Because after it looked like he didn't have a Bramall Lane career at all, he's definitely revived himself and he's been a solid part of the team. Of course, that left back carrying on in the absence of Burrow's form is Sam McCallum. He's another player who's had a real resurgence at Bramall Lane. I'm not saying he was a bad player, but in terms of like last season, he didn't start much ahead of Burrows. But this season, when Burrows has been off, Sam McCallum has definitely shown up. He's been solid. And until McCallum has a bad run of form, it's his spot to lose. At right midfield, it's Andre Brooks. Him and Sirike on that right hand side are absolutely amazing. Like I mentioned, that chemistry he has with Sirike on that right hand side is a lot of how we play at the moment. He wasn't too impressive in that cameo in the Mansfield game, but of course, starting a game is much different to come off the bench. Wilder said that Ogbene is now back from injury. We're back in the team, so we're interested to see if they can compete for that right wing spot. But it's one of them. Brooks has got a lot to do to lose it. For my first enemy, I've gone for Samara. I don't know if Peck's fully fit for this game. I think Peck's returning to the squad for this game, but I think he'll be off the bench, not in the starting 11. So I think in his absence, Samara will carry on taking that place. We haven't got too many options in midfield. I think Samara is the best of the bunch because, to be honest, Arbas was quite poor against Mansfield, so I think he needs a bit more time to get up to speed. And then the other centre mid is such an obvious choice. Jairo Riedewald comes back in. I mean, he's another one that barely put a foot wrong this season. He's been so solid in that midfield. And of course, with Tori Souza last season, he's such an important player in that middle of the park. So it's one of them again. If he's fit, he has to start. On the left, we've got the best player of the season so far, Callum Aware. Of course, Callum Aware has been so solid on that left-hand side, more of a free roll, like cutting into the middle. And I think that dynamic works really well in the team, like a direct right-hand side and the left-hand side is a bit more fluid. And I think Aware is a massive part of that, of course, how he can just be anywhere on the pitch at once. Aware is just the sort of player you want on your team. He just attacks so well, but he can also come back for the team. He got a well-earned rest against Mansfield last weekend, so we're ready to go for this game. As my first strike, I've gone for Tom Cannon. I think he deserves to come back into the team. Of course, he's been on some decent form recently, scoring a couple of goals in the last few games. And I think it's clear to see that this two-striker formation definitely suits his game a lot more. And I think especially with the striker that I've chosen next to him, works really well with that connection. And it's a brilliant chance for him to try and get some more of that form. And then of course next to him is Patrick Bamford. He has to start if he's fit in my opinion. I mean, a lot of the good stuff we do at the top of the pitch, especially strikers, come through him. And I think him and Cannon work so well, that connection between the two different players. And I think Campbell being quite poor recently, needs a rest, he needs a period out of the team. And I think Bamford and Cannon are good enough to get the job done. Don't get me wrong, most away games in this league are very tough, but I think we'll win 3-1. I just think against a poor team like Charlton, we can go there and get something. I think Bamford will get a brace and Cannon will get the other. As always, if you enjoy this sort of content, leave this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Most likely the match reaction will be a YouTube short because it'll be a TikTok version. Obviously I can't do play ratings if I haven't watched the match, but I will still look at the highlights and analyse it from that. So stay tuned for that and I'll see you guys in the next one.